Hi, this is Munson from Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you can play an old song by one of my uncle's favorite bands called Fleetwood Mac, and the song is Landslide. And it's going to start on a C major, and the way you play C major, first finger is going to go on the B string on the first fret, second finger is going to go to the D on the second fret, and the third finger is going to go to the A on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that makes a C major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from C major, we're going to be going to a G major chord. And the way you play G major, first finger is going to go to the A on the second fret, second finger is going to go low E on the third fret, and the third finger is going to go to high E on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that makes a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from G major, we're going to be using an A minor 7. And the way you play A minor 7, first finger is going to go to the B on the first fret, second finger is going to go to the D on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds kind of sad. That's called A minor 7. And then from A minor 7, we're going to be going back to the G major chord. And our verses are actually just going to revolve around those chords. We're going to do our C major, G major, A minor 7, G major, C major, G major, A minor 7, G major. And a lot of times with a song like this, and we'll talk about the arpeggios and how you can make it sound more like the tune in a minute. But one of my favorite things to add to a song like this to make it more interesting is a strum pattern. One of my favorite 4/4 strum patterns is down, down, up, up, down, up. So if you took the C chord and just tried that a lot, you'd have C, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, up. So you may want to try that through that verse progression where you got the C, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, A minor 7, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, C, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, A minor 7, down, 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 G, down, 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 C, down, 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 G, down, 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 A minor 7, down, 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 G, down, 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 C, down, 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 G, down, 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 A minor 7, down, 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 G, down, down, down. And then the last time through on the verse part before the chorus, we're going to be doing the C major, and then C and then G, and then we're doing the A minor 7, but then we're going to go to a D major chord. And the way you play D major, first finger is going to go to the G on the second fret, second finger is going to go to the high E on the second fret, and the third finger goes to the B string on the third fret. And if you strum just the top 4 strings, just the B, G, B, and E, that'll give you your clear sound. That's called D major. So just to try that one time through with the strum pattern, so that last time through the verse you have the C major, G major, A minor 7, but then we go to D major, down, down, up, down, up. It's kind of a lead in to our chorus. And our chorus part, we're going to be doing G major and then D major, but then we go to an E minor chord. And the way you play E minor, first finger is going to go to the A on the second fret, second finger is going to go to the D on the second fret, and if you strum all those together, that makes an E minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. And then we go into C major, and then a G major, and then A minor, and then D major. And it's almost like we're starting over again. G major, D major, E minor, C major, G major, A minor 7, G major, and then we kind of going back to our verse part. So just to try that with our strum pattern, we got G down, down, up, down, D down, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, up, down, E minor, down, 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 C down, 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 G down, 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 A minor 7, down, 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 D major, down, 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 G down, 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 D down, 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 E minor, down, 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 E minor, down, 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 C major, down, 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 G major, down. first part. But if you want to play along with the recording, instead of starting on a C major chord, Fleetwood Mac is actually starting on an E flat major chord. So if you take a capo, and we're going to put them across the entire 3rd fret, and now your C major is really an E flat major. Your G major chord is really a B flat major chord. Your A minor 7 is really a C minor 7. And when we get to it, your D major is really an F major chord, and your E minor is really a G minor. But just to try it that way from the beginning, yeah, you'd have your verse with the C down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor 7 down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, C down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor 7 down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, C down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor 7 down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, C down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor 7 down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, C down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor 7 down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, C down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor 7 down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, C down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor 7 down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, C down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, A minor 7 down, down, up, down, G down, down, up, down, and then that last time through we got the C down, down, G down, 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 A minor 7 down, down, down. We can go to D major down, 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 and then when we go into our chorus part, we got the G down, 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 D down, 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 E minor down, 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 E minor down, 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 C down, 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 G down, 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 A minor 7 down, 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 D major down, 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 G down, 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 D down, 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 E minor down, 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 E minor down, 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 C down, 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 G down, 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 A minor 7 down, 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 G down, down, down. But then we'd be going into our solo part, which is basically like our verse. So we got the C down, down, G down, 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 A minor 7 down, 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 G down, 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 C down, 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 G down, 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 A minor 7 down, 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 G down, 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 C down, 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 G down, 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 A minor 7 down, 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 G down, 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 C down, 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 G down, 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 A minor 7 down, down, down. Then the last time we do the D major down, 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 which kind of leads us back to our chorus part. We got the G down, 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 D down, 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 E minor down, 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 E minor down, 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 C down, 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 G down, 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 A minor 7 down, down, D down, 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 G down, 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 D down, 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 E minor down, 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 E minor down, down, C down, 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 G down, 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 A minor 7 down, down, G down, down, and then we'll be back to our verse for the rest of the tune. We got the C down, down, G down, 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 A minor 7 down, 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 G down, 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 C down, 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 G down, 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 A minor 7 down, down, G down, down. So that's the basics of how you could strum through Landslide. But there's some very, very famous arpeggio licks through this song. And what an arpeggio is where you're taking the chords and breaking them up. So for instance, the way it starts is on the C major chord, but instead of playing the whole chord as a strum pattern, you could take the A string and kind of play just the A string of the chord, and then the G string of the chord, and then the D string of the chord, and then the B string of the chord, and then the G string, and then D string, and then G string. So you probably want to do that a lot, just the A, G, D, B, G, D, G, A, G, D, B, G, D, G, A, G, D, B, G, D, G. And the arpeggio basically is going to stay the same through the arpeggio part. If you're doing it that way, it's just the basses, the very first note that we're playing is going to change. But from the C major, we're going to be going to what's, the G major, or part of the G major, called G/B. And what a G/B is where you play second fret on the A string, and then you can take the pinky or the third finger and get the B string on the third fret. And if you do that same arpeggio, we'll be doing the A string, G string, D string, B string, and then G string, D string, G string. So we got A, G, D, B, G, D, G, A, G, D, B, G, D, G, A, G, D, B, G, D, G. And then from there we do the A minor 7 with the same arpeggio. A, G, D, B, G, D, G. And then we go back to the G/D for our G chord. So then we got the A, G, D, B, G, D, G. So if you put all that together, then you got your C chord with the A string for the bass, right? So A, G, D, B, G, D, G. And then the G/B with the A, G, D, B, G, D, G. And A minor 7, A, G, D, B, G, D, G. And then the G/B, A, G, D, B, G, D, G. So that's what you could use for your verse. Or you got the... Then the weird part is where we had our turnaround, where the last time through, where we do our C chord arpeggio, and we still do our G/B arpeggio, and our A minor 7 arpeggio. But then there's another chord that comes in to kind of lead into the chorus called D7/F sharp. And what that means is you're playing part of a D7 chord, but with an F sharp in the bass. And the way you play that chord, first finger is going to stay on the B string on the first fret. The second finger is going to go low E on the second fret, and the third finger goes to the G string on the second fret. And if you do your arpeggio on this chord, you want to do the low E string for your first note. So now we're going low E string, and then G, D, B, G, D, G, low E, G, B, D, B, G, D, G, low E, G, D, B, G, D, G. So that last time through the verse, you got the C chord, G/B, A minor 7, but then you're going to D7/F sharp, and then from there we'll be doing the G major and the only thing that we're really changing in the arpeggio is we're going to be using the low E for the first note. So on the chorus part, you've got the G with the low E, and then the G, D, B, G, D, G. But then we're going to be going to a D/F sharp instead of just a D chord. And the way you play D/F sharp is first finger is going to go to the low E on the second fret, second finger is going to go to the G string on the second fret, and the third finger is going to go to the B string on the third fret. And when we're doing this arpeggio, then it's a D major chord but with an F sharp in the bass. And our arpeggio is going to be the same as it was on the G. So we got low E, and then G, D, B, G, D, G, low E, G, D, B, G, D, G. And then when we get to our E minor, we're going to be doing the same arpeggio but using the low E for the bass on that. So on your E minor, you got low E, G, D, B, G, D, G, low E, G, B, or D, B, G, D, G, low E, G, D, B, G, D, G. And then the next part is almost like our verse part. We're doing the C major with the A string for the bass. So we got our C major arpeggio, G/B, A minor 7, and then we're going to go to the D7/F sharp, and then that leads you back to your G chord, and then the D/F sharp, and then the E minor, and another E minor, but then we go back to the C chord, and slash B, and then our A minor 7, and then we're almost like back in our verse where we got the G slash B. So just to try that whole chorus one time, you got G major, D slash F sharp, E minor, C major, G slash B, A minor 7, but then D7 slash F sharp, and then G major, D slash F sharp, E minor, C major, G slash B, A minor 7, G slash B. And if that feels kind of weird with the pick, another way to do that would be using the fingers. So on the C chord, for instance, you could start with the thumb and then use the middle finger for all your G strings, and then the index finger for all your D strings, and the B string with your ring finger. So you'd have thumb, middle, index, ring, middle, index, middle, and then G slash B was the same thing. Thumb, middle, index, ring, middle, index, middle, and then A minor 7 the same way. So your thumb would end up being the bass player for all your chords through the arpeggio. So if that's a little bit easier for you, you may want to try that, although that can feel kind of weird if you're not used to that. But that's basically the way you could strum through it and substitute the arpeggios for our chord progressions through the song. But then there's a really cool solo part that comes in too, where we start open G and do a hammer on the G string on the 2nd fret. So I'm kind of playing the G string and just kind of putting the finger down to get the sound to come out. And then you play open B, and then we're going to do a 3rd fret hammer on there to 3rd fret, from open to 3rd. So you got O2, O3, and then we take 3rd fret on the B string and kind of slide it to 5th. So I'm kind of keeping a little bit of pressure on the string to get that note to kind of slide up to 5th fret. And then I'm going back to 3rd fret on the B, and then open B, and then 2nd fret on the G, and then open B, and then open G. But then I'm doing a hammer on back from open to 2nd on the G, and then open G, and at the end you go 2nd fret on the A, and do a hammer on the 3rd fret on the A, and then open D, and then another open D. So you got open to 2nd hammer on the G, and then open 3rd hammer on the B, and then 3rd fret slide to 5th on the B, and then back to 3rd fret on the B, open B, and then 2 on the G, open B, open G, open to 2nd hammer on the G, open G, and then 2 hammer on the 3 on the A string, and then open D twice. So we got really just start that over again for the solo part, where you got the O2, O3, 3, 5, 3, open, 2, O, O, O2, O2, 3, O, O. So that's the basis of how you could kind of go through the solo too. But that's the basics of how you could play Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. So good luck!